Hi guys, welcome to XtraTalk, another edition today with PapiMento.
What's up, man?
How are you?
Good.
Yeah? Yeah, I'm good, man. So today, let me put it this way. Last time we talked, you were like, yes, we're going to start the games. You know, the friendlies are coming, finally. And well, it happened. This week, 2 games.
Exactly.
Last week, actually, the RKC game. And also they played against Utrecht. So we're going to cover that today. Okay. We want your opinion on this. Which players, stood out for you? What did you see? What do you think? How does it look for the future? So just these kind of things. But before I start, I know you told me before we started this video that you want to just sidetrack a little bit and talk about what you saw yesterday.
I just wanted to say Barca got trashed, haha. And
you're not a Barca fan?
I'm kind of sick of the whole discussion between Messi and Ronaldo, and I think Messi and Ronaldo are over the hill now. And it's not just the players on the field that are a problem, but it's the whole organization at Barca and the way they're scouting and the way they're buying players. So now they're blaming Frankie. I'm like, sell him back to us.
Yeah, but you know, I mean, if it does, I mean,
you're gonna blame the youngest player on the field? Are you serious?
No, but okay, but listen, if it would happen with Ajax, right? I mean, I hope not, but if Ajax would lose that big to any other opponent, we would be trashing our players. I mean, honestly, because it's not. Look, it's one thing to lose a game, but Barcelona to lose like that, 8-2, never happened before. It was it was a humiliation basically.
But all the experienced players have to carry the team, right? So they have the most responsibility in getting a right team and the right effort on the pitch.
Yeah, but Barca has been looking out of sync the whole season.
True, and Frankie's not being used on the right position. So I'm just sad for Suarez and Frankie, to be honest. Well, the rest I don't really care.
You know what's funny? Just because we have to talk about Ajax, of course, but just one thing that really made me laugh is that people start questioning now the signings like Frankie, but also De Ligt, and whether our academy is good enough and whether we're not tricking the big clubs into making them believe that we have good players. What do you think of that?
Yeah, so if the big clubs are only looking at media and the best videos of every player to buy their player, then there's something wrong with their organization.
But are you saying that
they have scouts, they have people that look at those players, not just for one game, but I'm hoping for several games. If you buy somebody, put them in the right position and then start talking to me about if it's a right choice or not.
So you don't agree? You do think De Ligt and Frankie de Jong have potential?
Did you see Busquets yesterday? I would put Frankie in his position any day of the week.
But Busquets is a very good player. You know that, right?
I haven't seen him yesterday.
Yeah, but yesterday, again, it's not, I mean, it was a special game.
If you put Frankie on that position, he would not lose the ball.
But he
could build up from that position.
Yeah, but even Frankie didn't look that good yesterday.
But Frankie's also not the person from the defenders that get the first ball on the midfield. That was at Ajax, always the case.
Yeah.
So,
all right. Moving on. RKC. Ajax RKC, the first friendly game we played. Of course, it's all about getting the rhythm, getting the form. Also for Ten Hag to have a look at, how players are performing. The players that are 50-50, whether, are we going to loan them out? Are we going to keep these players? Or are we going to, maybe they're not good enough or we're going to sell them? I mean, I don't think many of those players are in that category, but you never know. Magayan, we will discuss this in a bit as well. Let's start with the RKC game. We're not going one by one, but the players that started basically the first half and the second
also,
half. Yeah. So what did you think of the game?
First of all, in both cases, you saw...
you mean both matches now?
In both matches, you saw in both halves that they had a whole different way of play, because the second half versus Utrecht was not of the caliber of the first half, and the first half against RKC was not like the second half.
But that doesn't matter that much.
It was a different team.
Yeah.
And you saw that the second half team against RKC with Antony and he had a couple more players that came in, but played very well. Even Marine played well against the RKC. But Marine was also the player, for instance, against Utrecht that you didn't see in the second half that came in. The first half was great. Noah Lang stood out. Labyad, the second game, really stood out. In the first game, he started, but he wasn't...
He was unlucky.
Yeah, he was unlucky, not really as good as he was against Utrecht. Tadic didn't play, so
He didn't play against the Utrecht game.
Against Utrecht, but the first game he played the first half. Didn't see much of Tadic in that game, so it's still early. It's friendlies, but I saw some great things.
Okay,
I mean,
tell me about those great things.
Antony. I mean, I'm convinced.
So we saw
I'm
him
convinced that he's good enough for
already.
Ajax, yeah. The way he played in the second half against RKC and in the first half against Utrecht. And both those halves, Ajax played their best game. So, and it's part to him too, because he gave an assist, I think, and his touches are really good. So I can already see the brilliance from him. Noah Long, really good. I think he was man of the match, wasn't it, for Labyad scoring those free kicks
against Utrecht? Yeah, but the funny thing about Noah Lang is a lot of us, even us, us included, fans, etc. We were already thinking like maybe Noah Lang should go again on a loan because his previous loan with Twente was, of course, it ended because of the Corona, so he didn't play. I mean, the whole half season. So people were already thinking, and I was thinking that too. Like maybe it's a good idea for him to,
But I do see a big difference between Noah Lang last year and Noah Lang today, or at least the FC Utrecht game.
Again, yeah, it's the friendly games. But if you see his
level, his development, his speed,
aggression,
even he got a little bit bigger. Or it's just deception, but he looked bigger on TV than last year. So I think he's doing a lot in the background to prove.
So based, I mean, of course, there are a lot of games coming still, but based on those two performances you saw, would you consider? Do you think Ten Hag should consider maybe keeping him for this season?
Yes, he would be a very good option. He would not be my starter yet.
Who would be the starter at the because he's playing now from the left wing side? Who would be the first choice there? Probably Promes.
Promes, I think, and then Antony on this other side. I like Tadic as a number 9. So put Labyad.
It's funny though because Tadic played.
He can also play 10, by the way.
Yeah, he can, but he played also on the left side against RKC.
And Labyad, I don't know. I mean, we can put him as a number 10 because as a winger, he doesn't have that much speed. And if he can maintain a level like he played against Utrecht, why not? But that's okay. But I'd be concerned because
but Labyad did not
play that level.
But Labyad did not play as a number 10 against Utrecht, right? So just to be very precise, he played as a false number 9.
Yeah.
But he was
in the spaces of a 10.
Exactly, because he was switching it up with Promes, who played the number 10 role, and Promes would go
deep.
Yeah, and
exactly. And he would come into the ball.
And they understood each other. They had a very good chemistry, which he also said after the game.
But I love this because this gives Ajax a second way of playing.
Well, it gives, exactly. And even Ten Hag said that. We have more options, If things go well, then it's something we can add and maybe discuss and maybe also apply for other games if needed. So, okay, so we talked about those. Let's talk about the youth players. We talked about Noah Lang. So other youth players that we saw play, what did you think of those players? And also the players that are not been...
I'm a big fan of Traoré, but he didn't really
perform yet. Okay. In both games.
But I'm not going to judge him yet because it's friendlies.
Yeah, but in both games. Although he scored against RKC the first half.
Well, the thing is, I cannot blame him because in the first half against RKC, he was in the lesser team, let's say it like that. And in the second half versus Utrecht, he was also in a youth team, actually. He wasn't with the strongest player. The only player of level was Donny van de Beek, I think, in the second half against Utrecht. The rest was like Sontje was playing, Univar came in, Jurjen played.
Timber, you mean?
Timber, sorry, yeah. Timber played, and on the midfield we also have Taylor, which I was impressed with.
Rensch went to the left side.
Also
played right side against Utrecht.
You told me that Rensch is actually a central defender.
Well, he is known for being a central defender.
He's speedy for.
He is fast, so he could, and he's both-footed, so he can play either left or right. So that's a
very good option. I didn't even know they had that option. On the wing.
Well, we have to wait and see. I mean, look, the thing is also Ten Hag is experimenting a lot because against the RKC game, we saw also Eiting and he put Eiting in as a central defender.
Yeah.
But Ten Hag basically said afterwards that this is just an experiment. It's really something just for Eiting to learn how to play, but he's not considering him to put him there, of course, because he's more a midfielder.
And Marine, not youngster, but somebody you have to talk about. Second half against RKC, okay. Against Utrecht, not really there.
If I may give my opinion about this, I think Alvarez was not good, neither against RKC.
Yeah. But I don't count him as youth, but yeah.
No, Alvarez, not as youth, but that's what I wanted to say. We're talking about youth, but we're also talking about the players that are really questionable and they have to show themselves to Ten Hag. And it's a do or die season. And those players that fit into that category is basically Alvarez and Marin.
To be honest, I think we've both been on Twitter enough to know that everybody sees that Alvarez is not a midfielder and should be competing with Schuurs.
But despite what other people say on Twitter, what do you think?
Exactly the same. I mean, he played 2 matches on that position. You see
he played last season a couple of times also on that position.
Okay. Yeah. But he didn't convince us yet. So what I'm trying to say is...
Why is Ten Hag doing it then?
Exactly. Let him challenge Schuurs for that position. Let him compete.
Central defender role.
Exactly. Next to Blind, Alvarez would be perfect.
Yeah, but I think Ten Hag has so many options also because he has to play one player, one half. So he has to choose. Mm-hmm. He has basically 3 options for the right central defender role. And that's Schuurs, that's Timber. And then we think Alvarez, we're talking about Alvarez all the time, but he hasn't used Alvarez there.
No, exactly.
Till now. In the friendly games.
But look, for me, friendlies is getting accustomed to your position.
Exactly. Should we be worried about the fact that he hasn't played?
Of course we should be worried because he's putting him in a position that nobody wants him to see play. Because it's not his position. He might be a defensive midfielder for a different team strategy, but for Ajax strategy in how you play that position, he should be a central defender.
All right. And what about Marin?
He played okay in the second half. Utrecht, dramatic. Not really convinced he has the quality to stay at Ajax. Maybe it's not even the quality, but maybe a mindset. But it's not coming out.
What about Gravenberch, who played actually both times with Alvarez next to him on the midfield?
Yeah. So I should go easy on him because he played next to Alvarez.
No, that's not what I meant. That's not what I meant. I was just stating.
He didn't convince me either, but he's still young. It's 2 games behind each other that he's playing, but last year he didn't have that. So,
but does he look different to you now after the break? Does he play different in the sense that has he improved? Do you see anything?
He impressed me more last year. Like more with the forward passing and then the drive up.
Okay, so it's too early yet.
It's too early yet. I didn't see much from him. Most of the passes were sideways or back. So he's still young, still a lot to learn, but I don't like that kind of play at all.
All right. Let's talk about Labyad for a moment. We already touched upon him, but I want to know from you, it's only been 1 game because as you said, the RKC game he was unlucky. The Utrecht game he was exceptional for 1 half. Would you consider him as a first 11 player or as a starter for this season? Or you think, no, he's just a very good bench player that we can use in terms of depth, but not as a first 11? What's your opinion about that?
Yeah, look, that's a really good question, and I'm thinking about it. Look, I think form has also something to do with this, okay? Because even if you're the best player but you have a poor form, an average player with the perfect form would be the one that should go on the pitch, right? So if he can maintain this form, he's a breath of fresh air, and you should put him.
Where should he play? In your opinion?
Then a 10, because he doesn't have the speed for me to be on the side.
Yeah, but that's a problem because we still have Donny. And even in those 2 games that we saw against RKC and against Utrecht, Ten Hag is using Promes as a number 10, which means he's already kind of experimenting and thinking of a solution if Donny might leave.
Then he's a bench player, but a bench player that's very important for the first team.
Let me ask you
rotation player.
Let me ask you another question. There is a role just before the defense, which has been an issue for us this season.
6. Yeah,
the 6 role.
This already.
Yeah, hold on. So we have 2 positions there because we play with a number 10 and 2 players behind. Last season we had Martinez, and then next to Martinez there was an issue. Who would fit there? And Ten Hag has used many players there, including Alvarez. Would it be would it be possible, or would it be worth it trying to put Labyad there in a Schuurs role?
I wonder if he has the skill to play midfield.
Because
like
let's
that.
not forget, Labyad is not a quick player,
No.
a fast player. Schuurs was not that either. But they both have technical abilities. They both have very good, passing skills. And they both are very good in taking, set pieces.
Exactly. Yeah, no, I know. But look, Labyad played great against Utrecht. But last year we saw him play some very questionable matches also.
Who, Labyad?
Yeah.
Well, I thought Labyad came in, against, I think it was the Lille game.
And then
he played pretty well, but then he got injured.
Yeah.
So he didn't play that many games, to be honest.
Exactly.
So it's very hard to assess how good Labyad has been for us because he hasn't played a lot and he has been injured for a while. But if you look at what he's capable of, I mean, we know Labyad even when he was at PSV, let's be honest. He was an exceptional talent. That's how he was, portrayed. He left early. PSV was not happy with that. He went to Portugal. Then he came back to Vitesse and went to Utrecht and etc. So, Ajax. The thing is, Ten Hag, when he was coach at Utrecht, he saw something in him and he brought him because he was playing good at Utrecht. And he has skills. I mean, he's a good player. Whether he's good enough for the positions up front, that's questionable because there's so many options that we have. So again, my question to you is, would it be something, do you see it working maybe? Because we don't have anything yet. Nothing is working right now in the midfield.
You haven't seen Kudus yet?
That's true, but Kudus is left-footed.
Yeah, but he's if you're going to put Labyad, you want him as a 6 and next to him like a Gravenberch or a Kudus type.
Yeah, but I would, okay, it's a matter of taste, but I would like to have a left-footed player and a right-footed player in the midfield. So in that case, Martinez was last year the left-footed one, but it seems that Martinez is going to focus being a substitute left back or maybe in the defense. We don't know that yet. It's too early. Depends also whether Tagliafico stays or not. But let's say the squad as it is remains. I mean, let's talk like that. Then Tagliafico is left back. Probably he will put Martinez. He's not going to bench him, so he will play on the midfield. Who should be the one playing next to Martinez? Because we tried Gravenberch, we tried Alvarez, we tried a lot of players there.
So you could put Donny van de Beek next to Martinez, and you could put Labyad as a 10 if he plays that kind of football.
But then you would not do it the other way around. You would not put Donny 10 and Labyad as a controlling midfielder. I'm not a fan of putting
players out of position. But as we see with Frankie at Barca, I like them playing where they shine and where the best you can get out of them.
So basically what you're saying is based on the friendly we played against Utrecht, 1/2, Labyad plays as a false number 9. He should focus on the false number 9.
Or 10.
But he didn't play as a number 10.
But he can play that position. I mean, he has the technical capabilities to play that position.
But that means that you would rather have him and take Donny out of position and put him...
Because I think Donny works hard and he has a technical capability to not lose the ball on a sensitive area on the pitch.
All right.
And he has more...
So basically your answer to my question is you don't see Labyad fulfilling the Schuurs role?
No.
All right. Okay, that's clear. So moving on. Any other stuff that you would like to discuss about the games that you saw? Something that stood out maybe, or something that you want to just share with us?
That pass from Labyad with the outside of his foot, that was...
To Promes, and then Promes tried to chip it.
Didn't you think a little bit of Ziyech when you saw that?
That was brilliant. That was beautiful. That's why I'm telling you, the chemistry between those two was amazing.
But what I don't understand is why is this the first time we really see Labyad at this high level? Because I haven't seen him play so good.
Ten Hag said that Labyad, maybe for a first time now, he's completely match fit. I mean, his stamina, conditioning, everything is
as it should be.
As should be. And it wasn't the case before. So maybe that's one of the reasons. And the other thing is, let's be honest, if you start a new season, everything is fresh. Everybody gets a zero start, basically. So everybody doesn't have the pressure that they have during the season.
And we were talking about the 6th position, but you don't think Eiting would be a good position?
But Eiting is also left-footed. Eiting, honestly...
I love Eiting.
Yeah, but the thing is, that's strange, because he has the opportunity to play Eiting, and then he puts Eiting against the RKC game as a central defender.
RKC, right? Come on.
No, okay.
He wouldn't do that against a normal team.
I know, but I would rather have Eiting in his natural position to see him play there. And it doesn't help somebody that doesn't have a lot of confidence, that didn't play a lot for Ajax, to not put him in his position to get some rhythm. No, you put him in a different position. Look, every time we see a YouTube movie and I'm the host, you always see my name tag and you always see I often disagree with Ten Hag. And I don't want to be the guy again that says that, but I disagree with Ten Hag. So the thing is, I don't like the fact that Ten Hag tries to overcomplicate things, just like sometimes when there is a big match of Manchester City, Guardiola does the same. They start thinking that it's math or something, and they have to think about very difficult solutions to something that's not difficult.
Exactly.
Stick with what Cruyff said. Football is easy. Keep it simple. If you have come to a certain, if you reach a certain moment during the season, that's because you played at a certain with players at certain positions, certain way. Don't try to change it at the end because it's not going to work. Exactly. Players will get confused.
You mean like Magallan against Tottenham?
That's the final thing we have to talk about.
Tottenham, and then he brings him in and he didn't play all season. Still blame him for that loss.
Let's talk about Magallan because last time I spoke with Ajax and he laughed at me. Basically, he was nice. He didn't laugh out loud, but he was laughing inside about the option of Magallan. And the only thing I said is Magallan is still with Ajax. And I mean,
look, I understand, Jeff. I understand what he means. Okay, he means that Magallan.
You mean you understand Ajax?
Ajax, yeah. Sorry.
Okay.
Magallan didn't play all season. We all knew he didn't have the level. But as a coach, you should know if you think he's capable enough to be put in such an important match. So all responsibility for me falls on Ten Hag, and everybody's blaming Magallan. But those substitutions I would have never done as a coach.
No, we're not blaming Magallan. We know Magallan is not good enough for Ajax.
Yeah.
So
cut your losses. Write them off the books.
Yeah, but the thing is that now we know that Magallan is also going to Austria. And is going to train with the squad, which I understand. I mean, he's still with the squad. I mean, you cannot.
Is that not to lose money, or is that because you see potential in him? That's something I still don't see, the potential. So it's maybe just to get him in some games, and maybe some other club would see him play, and they can buy him.
Okay, but let's be honest now. What other option do we have behind Blind? Except for Martinez, which Ajax also pointed out. Yeah. But Martinez is used for 3 different positions. So the only natural left central defender that we have, the only left central defender that we have is Magallan. Natural position. Not good enough, I know.
Sorry, but Martinez could play that position. And what you guys discussed last week was without knowing that Rensch is a good player on the if Tagliafico would leave, he could play that position.
Tagliafico is on the left back position.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the Blind position.
Yeah, Martinez could play that position, no?
He could. Yeah. But don't you think he's a bit small to be a central defender?
No.
Really?
He played very well last season in that position.
Yes, he played pretty okay, but you cannot go to the Champions League playing with 2 defenders that are small. Last year was Veldman, and then we had Blind next to him. But if Blind is not there, Martinez,
but
the only thing I'm saying,
Blind on the ball is exceptional, right? As a defender, you're not gonna have a double.
The thing I'm trying to say is that the central defenders should be complementary to each other. So if the other one, like Blind, you just mentioned, is good on the ball, but he lacks a little bit of defensive capability, then you have to have somebody next to him that complements him in defending, but doesn't necessarily has to be very good on the ball. And now what we have, because we didn't talk about Schuurs, by the way, Schuurs is also good on the ball.
But he's not left, though.
No, he's not left, but as a youngster, proving himself. But Schuurs is right-footed, but he has a bit the same as Blind has.
But I'm not getting your point. Because you're talking to me about, as a backup, Magallan, that we all know that cannot do anything like Blind. So what is the discussion? I'd rather have Martinez than Magallan on that position.
Okay.
And as a left back, we have an option behind Tagliafico if he would leave.
So basically what you're saying is Magallan is not worth the time, the energy, not even going to Austria.
He has a big mountain to climb, and if he can still convince me based on his performances that he deserves to stay at Ajax, I welcome it. But I just doubt it. That's my personal.
All right, let's keep it at that. Then moving forward, they're going to Austria, as we know. They're going to play a couple of matches there, so we're looking forward to that to see how they show themselves. We haven't seen Onana, we haven't seen Kudus. Kudus was waiting for his working permit. Yeah. He got it,
but already with the first team to Austria, so that's promising.
No, of course. I mean, apart from Kudus, there are a lot of youngsters also got invited. One of the youngsters that did not get invited,
Ekkelenkamp also, by the way.
The Ekkelenkamp is there as well.
Okay. Sontje
didn't get the invite. Are you surprised about that?
Well, I saw the game. He played the second half against Utrecht. He made a lot of bad choices, so maybe he's not ready. And yeah, that can happen.
Okay.
I mean, he's still young.
I mean, it can also happen during the season,
he's
right?
16,
No,
17?
he's older. He's 18.
He's already 18, Sontje?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought he was younger. Maybe one more year? Maybe he will get during the season his chances to prove himself.
Yeah, let's see. I mean, maybe they have too many attacking options as well.
Maybe it's a signal to him to do more his best.
Yeah, maybe, perhaps. Okay.
You don't know what's going on behind
two players we haven't touched upon, but I just want very short, just your opinion about that. Schuurs and Ekkelenkamp, as we just mentioned briefly. What did you think of their performances during the two friendlies?
Schuurs, first game okay, second game better. So he's growing. I'm happy with that. Bogaert is teaching him like how to be a tougher defender. So I like that. Ready for the first team, I would say.
Still number one option next to Blind.
Number one option, and give him time to get into that rhythm of that position. Give him at least 5 games, and you'll see a different Schuurs, I think. Having that confidence, having that trust from your coach, it works different on youth. And you said one more player, sorry. Ekkelenkamp, yeah. I mean, the signal from Ajax was there. They don't want to sell him. They don't want to loan him out. So it means they see a lot of potential in him. And I'm not against that because I do see potential in him.
He played very good against RKC, right?
Exactly. So yeah, I'm impressed. Let's hope he keeps developing because he's also a number 10 player actually. So let's see how that develops. Will he be a substitute for Donny? If Donny would leave, those are all things you have to consider.
Yeah. Well, we'll see how it goes. Thank you so much for your time.
Anytime, man. Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah. All right. And we'll see you next time. Yeah.
Definitely.
Guys, thank you for watching. Till next time.